Welcome to Clarity and Purpose. Our world is full of people who are overworked and overwhelmed. They lose focus on what matters, struggle to find a vision for the future, and lose time with those they love. We help businesses and their teams clearly understand their purpose and help them communicate more effectively. I'm your host, James Thorne. I'm joined by my co-host, Jake Jordan. Hey, Jake.
Hey, James.
That's always the same. Yeah, doing good, man. How are you?
Good, man. So I got a question for you today.
All right.
I'm curious, have you ever wanted to date a girl before you were married? Did you have somebody that you wanted to date and they just wouldn't give you the time of day?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my wife, she didn't give me a ton of time at the beginning there when I was really trying to pursue. But then what's interesting, though, is I actually got put on hold for our relationship for about a year through the organization that we were a part of, because we were both in the same one. And they had basically just said, hey, I need you to figure some things out for this next year. And this is not, so it was like I had to completely not pursue, which was really hard because, that was
right.
I was ready to rock and roll, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. There was a girl in college my sophomore year that I just was starry-eyed over and had a class with her and shared a couple different, things. And man, she would just she wouldn't even look at me twice.
Go.
Nothing, man. It was a no start.
And you weren't bald then, were you?
No, I had luscious hair.
Man.
It was curly. It was, man.
You still look good bald, bro. I'm just saying.
But no excuses back then, right? So, but until I really figure out kind of what I was looking for and knew what I had to offer, it was hard to match up with the right people. And today's guest, Mike Henry, is kind of the same way with what he has with his ministries. It took him a while to connect all those dots and really figure out the super clear message that he wanted people to know. And so now we're going to do what we do every week and get that grand entrance going right now.
Mike Henry Sr. is the founder of Follower of One, a workplace ministry that focuses on helping people share their faith in Jesus Christ in 5 simple steps. He's a husband, he's a father, and he's someone that cares about having a bigger purpose in life. So let's find out more from our guest today, Mike Henry Sr.
Hey, Mike. Great to see you today. How are you doing?
Hey. Good. How are you?
Good, man. Sometimes I get going off camera and I forget to push record because the conversation gets so good. So you are the founder of Follower of One, right?
Correct.
And you have a workplace ministry. That's essentially what we're looking at here. It's a ministry, but it's in the workplace. So tell me a little bit how you got there. Why a workplace ministry?
Well, so I became a Christian at age 30. And I was frustrated in my job and I was frustrated in my personal life. My wife was a believer and she realized that I call myself a born in America Christian. Mm-hmm. I wasn't Jewish and I hadn't killed anybody and I was born in America.
Right.
And so my faith wasn't lining up with hers. So we were having tension. Mm-hmm. And the job that I had, I worked for my father and he just wanted me to trust him. He knew more about the family business than I knew. Just do what he said. Yeah. Here I'm a young person trying to figure out how to live my life and make my name in the world. And he just wanted me to shut up and do what he wanted me to do. And so those two frustrations were making my life very difficult. Mm-hmm. I agreed to try out church. I set my mind on trying out church because I knew that if it didn't work, I could tell my wife no. I couldn't tell my dad no.
Right.
And so I hung out at a church for 3 or 4 months and they had a fella come who did a workshop on how you could take a pocket Bible and show someone how you could know for a fact that you were going to heaven. Mm-hmm. So I signed up for that workshop and went and learned on a Saturday. I learned this gospel presentation and became a Christian all on the same day. And it just blew me away. I learned that salvation was by grace through faith in Jesus, as opposed to working your way into heaven. I also have said that I was trying to be the third to last guy into heaven. I didn't want to be last, and I didn't want to be next to last. And so I felt like third to last was right where I needed to aim.
Gotcha.
And I realized that, Christ, there's no rank order. My labor doesn't get me into heaven.
Mhm.
And I was blown away by that on Saturday. Sunday was a great day at church. And Sunday afternoon, I started getting a pit in my stomach because I didn't want to go back to work.
Mm.
Often my prayers were, God, get me out of here.
Mhm.
And I started trying to figure out how I could become a full-time minister.
Mhm.
We had this missionary come, and they said, well, we felt called into full-time ministry, and we sold our house and we moved to wherever, and life is good. And so I kept saying, okay, God, I want to be a full-time minister. Would you please make me a full-time minister? And I remember thinking, nothing was happening. And I later thought, God was saying, yes, you're a full-time minister. Now, would you get back to work, please? And
Exactly.
and
You need to hear, Mike.
yeah, well, and I learned that ministry is just service.
Mhm.
And so I could work for the trucking company and be a minister. And I've created this kind of working definition now. Ministry is helping people move one notch closer to Jesus.
Mhm.
And so I can help anybody do that.
Right.
And when I realized that, then I became a full-time minister. But for years and years and years, I struggled with how to do that.
Mhm.
And the end result of that, at least at this point in time, is follower of one.
Hey, let's take a quick break from our interview and talk about something a lot of people are going through right now. There are a lot of people that hit a major slowdown during the COVID crisis. Many of our clients came to us and said sales are down and we're looking to have to lay people off, possibly sell buildings or other assets. Is there anything we can do to get momentum back in the business? The good news is the items are actually helping our clients, and we wanted to help other people with the advice that we gave them. So we built a guide you can download for free called Grow Again. What you do in your business when you get hit by the unexpected. We want you, the audience, to have it too. It contains 7 videos that explain the strategies we shared with our clients. It has 4 screen shares that show you exactly how we apply the techniques to our business, and it has 4 worksheets and scripts that you can literally pick up today and use yourself. So go to quirkgrowth.com/growagain and download your copy today. All right, let's get back to the interview.
So, the name of the podcast is Clarity and Purpose. And one of the main things I heard there was that you were confused about what your purpose was. That you were at work, you thought one thing, and then you found something else. What would you say to someone who is stuck on that question themselves? Because a lot of us know it, we just don't know how to talk about it or express it in a way that makes any sense, right? Because a lot of guys I talk to are like, I don't love what I do, and I'm not really that excited to get up in the morning, but I know that I'm better off than some other people, so I guess I'll keep going, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's stuck in that purpose place?
Well, one of the things that I came up with over the years, I came up with these 5 things that I think I can do every day in any job that put me on mission with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if I hate my job and I go to work and I pray for the people that I'm going to meet today,
Mm-hmm.
I actually put myself on the clock. My first prayer is, here I am, God. What do you want me to do today? When I realize that God has some purpose for me there, and I start looking for it in my relationship with Him instead of in my circumstances or my paycheck or my bonus structure or the awards that I win or any of those things, He starts to show that to us. And somebody asked me the other day, what do you do if you really don't like your work? Well, you still pray for those people. You still punch in, and I reminded God every day, hey, I don't like it here. Would you please get me out of here? But since I got to be here today, I want to do what you want.
Right.
And this becomes this adventure now where my life is kind of responding to what God does in it. Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby and Claude King was a key book for me in figuring all this out, because I don't have a new job today. I don't have any interviews today. So let's do this one as much like God would have me do it as I possibly can. But joy and excitement start coming out of that, and ideas start coming out of that as well. And I think it helps you figure out your purpose from that.
So how would you say because I know there's a lot of people that understand that Christians, non-Christians, think about it a different way, which is fine because we've got all types of listeners here, right? And purpose for a Christian is to glorify God, right? We're here to shine light on Him because He made us, so we need to put it back to Him. But even if I think the next level down, a lot of us get stuck on Christian and non-Christians is, okay, great. Let's say that's what I believe. But now what? Like, what's my purpose? I know our purpose. What's my purpose?
So I went through another kind of ministries material over a course of several years. I don't know if you've ever met Dave Jewett and Your One Degree. I'll have to make that introduction to you. Cool. Dave formed a ministry called Your One Degree, and the idea is that we have this 360-degree view, and all these are our choices of where we go with our life. Okay. One of those degrees is the one for us. And he actually has a great process for helping people discover from studying, examining their past and their likes and dislikes, the things that they're good at and not good at.
Right.
The types of people they like being around, the types of situations they like being in, to help you learn more about your gifting and how God lines that up, because it's based on the principle that we're designed for specific works, like Ephesians 2:10 says, and therefore I'm gifted in a particular way, and that was to help me stay motivated at doing what God would have me do for my life. And so that was Dave's ministry, Your One Degree. I think it's yourOneDegree.com. We'll have to look and add that to your notes. But is a great way. There are coaches all over the globe now. Dave started that ministry here in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Back in the early 2000s, and they've got coaches all over the planet now.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool. I read a book. A lot of people are familiar with Simon Sinek, to Find Your Why. And then he actually did a follow-up called Find Your Why for organizations that has some similar stuff that they do. They go back and tell people to look at times that they were proud to be a part of the organization and how they felt and why it made them felt that way, and the transformation in people's lives that happened because they were involved. And I think asking questions like that is a much, much quicker way to get places than to just keep trying stuff. Although one of my favorite things that I've ever been told was by probably my favorite pastor, it's a men's minister at a church of mine, who said, if you don't know where to serve, go serve. Right? Because you're going to find it if you keep serving.
That's right.
Same idea.
You can't figure it out reading about it, right? It's like riding a bike. You just don't learn how to do it without doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, one of the things I love about what you do is you have a very simple set of steps to follow for really slow people like me who need just show me the next 2 or 3 steps and I'll go hit that hard, right? I love that because that provides a lot of clarity, which people want, so they can have confidence, and it allows them to get out of their own way, right? So tell me, how did you come up? You said you came up with those 5 steps. How did that process work for you?
Well, the first one happened. The first one happened, if you fast forward from when I became a Christian to 9/11, and that's about the time we're recording this.
The day of, actually.
An anniversary of 9/11. But right after 9/11, as I was going back to work, I realized that I'd spent the last 4 or 5 years pursuing my career. I'd managed to get out of the logistics industry and become a technology person through a fluke of just learning some things. And I was in a different place, but I was making more money. I was very successful for me at that time. And then 9/11 happened, and I realized it was like a wake-up call. Mike, there's more stuff going on in the world than you know. Are you going to get back in the game? Was just kind of the thought that I had. And so as I was driving to work after we went back to the office on, the following Monday or whatever it was, I remember thinking, okay, God, so are you going to put me into ministry this time, or are we going to do this in the workplace again? And the only thought was, well, I got a job. I've got to work today. What can I do today? And I started as I was driving to work. I had about a 25-minute commute. I would pray through the office. I would just ask God to bless the people that I was going to work near or walk past or be in meetings with today. And I started with the first prayer that I now say all the time. I want to punch in. Okay, God, here I am, like Moses and I can't remember, I'm drawing a blank right now, Isaiah,
Elijah,
and Jacob said, here I am. So here I am, God, put me to work. What do you want me to do today? You're sovereign. You know where I'm going to be. What do you want me to do? And in a few weeks, it was kind of funny. Some of my coworkers who I wasn't particularly close to came up and asked me, Mike, have you thought about joining the gym? I'm not a real gym rat. I've always kind of been out of shape and overweight. They said, you want to join the gym? And I said, well, why are you asking? And they said, well, we need an 8th person to get the corporate discount. And I said, well, let me think about it. And I'll talk to my wife and I'll let you know. And after they left my office, I just kind of looked up and said, God, if they'd asked me to go to the bar, I'd have gone. But now you got a sense of humor. Now they all want me to go with them to the gym.
Of course.
Stuff started happening. I started getting to interact with people. Mm-hmm. And so I just kept praying for them. Over time, we added these 4 other things that I thought of, which is appreciate people. We have to know what we believe. We have to think a little bit about our beliefs so that when someone does act, we just don't stumble over ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then we serve others. That's the 4th thing. And then the 5th one is that we speak for ourselves. When we were given an opportunity to talk, I don't want to go tell everyone else how they're supposed to live. Instead, I just tell them why I do what I do and why I made the decisions that I made so that I don't mess up our work relationship, because I'm responsible for that more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. So
that's how I came up with them, was just trying to come up with what I could do in my environment.
Gotcha. So do you have a story that comes to mind about someone else who's kind of used that framework in a way that helped them maybe get out of their own way?
Well, we now do these things, what we call a marketplace mission trip, where we practice this for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And we've had a number of stories come out of that where people have thought one lady was in a tense work situation during the mission trip week. But instead of somebody challenged one of her business ideas, and instead of reacting sharply, she even said that because I was on the mission trip, I chose not to react sharply, but just to listen and to pray while this person was talking, and said, thank you very much at the end of it. And that was kind of the end of the conversation. But later that day, she was in the gym in her workplace, and it was just her and the yoga teacher in this yoga class. And in came the other lady who had kind of attacked her that morning.
Yeah.
And they had a much better conversation. She said that conversation was totally different because I listened to the Holy Spirit this morning instead of just listening to my flesh. Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of stories of things like that where people got prompted to give something away and it was exactly what the other person needed. Or we've had conversations with friends that just turned into some conversation about something faith related, and nobody even knows why it happened. So many of us see these opportunities now and we start praying and looking for them.
That's really cool. Awesome. Well, Mike, if people want to find you and want to learn more about these mission trips that in the workplace, where would they go to find you?
followerofone.org, and the one is spelled out. followerofone.org is our website. We have a daily podcast with a little 5-minute tip, and we also have the marketplace mission trips that we do about 6 times a year. And we have an online community to connect you with other people who are in the same line of work, because living as a Christian in different kinds of jobs has to involve different types of factors to be taken into consideration.
That's awesome. Several ways to get involved, several different levels. Mike, we appreciate you guys. If you are watching today on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can get more awesome stuff like this and get reminded of the notifications and everything. Mike, thanks a bunch for joining, and we just love having you.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Yeah, man. So see y'all next time on Clarity and Purpose, and we will check y'all later.
Man, that was really good. I love the whole, morning kind of routine, I guess you could say. Starting your day, certain things that you would do. There's a study, actually, the most successful people in the world do a handful of things. So not just in like the religious, side. It's like people have a time of meditation. They do some sort of workout. They're moving. They have some sort of thing they're journaling or preparing for their day. So I just love that, because even the most successful people have some sort of plan in the morning that is doing things to get them started. And I've tried to adapt that myself, but I know we do that as a team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a big part of it. And, the same way that Mike, talks to God every morning and says, where you want me? Lots of people who are making a big impact in the world are doing a similar type of thing, waking up going, what's today about? And
right.
Centering themselves and going, how can we serve? How can we serve today? So
yeah, no, I love that. And I think that's a key point in general. Just if you don't do that, and when you wake up, regardless what you believe, I think it's a good place to start. So
yeah, absolutely. So subscribe, because
that's another good place to start.
You can see, yeah, we have all sorts of people on here, all showing different ways, man, that they connect in and get clear and work out their purpose. So if you're not subscribed, do all the things below, the bells and the buttons and things.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, we appreciate you. And we believe when a business leader aligns their team with their message, they become unstoppable.